How's everyone doing? Hey, Rachman, how are you? Pieman, Ryzen, Random Ladybird. Hope you're all well. Who else we got in here? I know we got some lurkers, but I won't call them out. If they want to say hi, they're welcome to. Otherwise, welcome one and all that are hanging out in the in chat. Hey, Ivan Yakos, how are you doing, buddy? Oh. Does my camera just seem like a little zoomed in? Am I crazy, or is it... Mama Mooey! How you doing? Lost Wanderer, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna unzoom the camera just like one quick snooch. Yeah, I was a little cut off, it seemed like, at the top. Let me just try one more. Yes. Yes. Wow, why was it so zoomed in? I don't know why it does this sometimes. Oh well. Anyway. Welcome one and all. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is what you see in front of you. It's an AI-powered map-making utility, and it's available on Steam. We just had a very amazing update called The Treasury that launched just a little over a week ago. It was a free update for anyone who owns Dungeon Alchemist, and there has been so much new stuff available as a result of it, including amazing new maps and assets. Now you can import 3D assets to Dungeon Alchemist or take advantage of the over 300 assets on the workshop already inside of just over a week. It's crazy the the amount of support that's already started to happen for this. Has anyone taken a moment to just look at workshop assets at all? Bacon. Yes! Yes! Here, let's put a piece of bacon in this map. Why is my download size cut off? Interesting. I'm going to point that out to the devs. Okay, let's see. Where would bacon go on this map? Okay, let's put it right here. There we go. So, I just downloaded this bacon from the Steam Workshop and then added it to a map in like a second. Just kind of pointing out how cool this new feature is. That you can now, you know, find all these amazing new assets and add them to your maps. Yesterday, one of our mods, Asmodeus, as you may know him, started uploading these little house assets, like a medieval kind of basic house asset. And now you have so much assortment, you could quickly flesh out a little village. Also, quick, like, trigger warning, this spider is animated, and it's crazy cool. I would love to show it off, but I also don't want anyone to be, like, triggered or upset by it, so it's kind of one of those, hey, go download it, check it out for yourself. There is so much new stuff that's on the workshop that is starting to expand what you can do with Dungeon Alchemist. Now, getting back to, you know, what we're looking at, this map. I selected this map to start today because it's a very beautiful little village. Wonderfully fleshed out, has a lot of life, and an assortment of you know, little bits of, you know, shops and living areas and, you know, just different things that would draw people into various aspects of the village. It doesn't have to be big to have a lot of vibrance, you know, and in this case, that proves it. This map is called the Village of Barkshire, and I'm actually going to get a link for that really quickly, so everyone can check it out. Hmm. There it is. Found it. Let me... First things first, I'm going to favorite it, and I'm going to give it a thumbs up. And now I'm going to share it in chat for everyone. Yeah, this is a great little riverside village, and as you can see, it has an outlet to the sea, or maybe a lake on this side, where it's very large on this side, so you could assume this is either a sea, an ocean, or a lake on this side, right? And then this is a river that feeds through the town, which, you know, rivers are usually, you know, right by... Little towns and villages usually crop up right on rivers because you need water. In fact, most of civilization cropped up on like a river or a lake for the most part. I mean, obviously there's a few exceptions, but you get what I'm after here. Man, that's cool. So they put a pit down there with like a little grinding wheel, and then they put the elevator engine hooked to the water wheel. Very interesting. You got a church, you got a blacksmith, little library, study, kind of a... just like a baker or like a general foods type store. There's a potion shop right here. Like, well, I guess there's a few potions. It's more like a, maybe a general store here. Or maybe a pub. It's got like a little bit, it kind of looks like a pub. I don't know, it's hard to say what this is. Right? It's like really well organized space. I like it. I like a good small map that has a lot of character. This little, you know, you have these little, kind of a slum area here. Tight little homes with like a little pit in the middle. Nothing fancy here. And then, oh, the mine with like the, you know, the little mine elevator and the crane adjacent. It looks really nice. A lot of... Oh, in this little cave. Like, just really well done. Pub and potion, right? So they obviously, might be like a creek or like a really small river, because the way the bridges are, you wouldn't expect much river traffic, you know, like boats out in the river, but outside in this lake or ocean, you definitely have boats. So just kind of looking at it, I think, oh man, this like the lumber trail, the little stone pathway, looks great. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Like an inlet. So, who all, raise of hands, is making a map for our current dam challenge, which is the treasury, to match our latest update? So, if you're new here and haven't caught a stream before, the dam challenge is a bi-weekly map making challenge that we host here on Twitch and in our Discord. And basically we're hosting this challenge is a fun way for people to kind of flex their creativity and show off their ability to make fun or interesting maps. And the current theme is the treasury, which is our latest update. So you, using that as inspiration, you can make a map of any shape or size and submit it in our Discord. If your map is the winner, you get a $10 Hero Forge gift card, and you know, you're forever immortalized in our creator community. Your map is added to the Dam Challenge collection on Steam, And, you know, it's just like a fun little way to compete and also show off your skills. I am excited to see it. Gore! Hey, Night Vision, how are you? How are you? Mama Mooey, no time making a city? Wow, how big is the city so far? Like, how many, what's the dimensions? This one's 25 by 35. What's the dimensions of your city? A little bank would be amazing, though, random Ladybird. It will probably be 640 by 40. Wow. Whoa. So, you're dividing it up into 6 sections. That is insane big. That's really cool. That must be an undertaking. Yeah, I'm looking at making the entire port of Nyanzaru right now, which is a big port city in Tomb of Annihilation on the island of Chult. And I was thinking of making it 6 parts, but that might even be too small. So I might make it 8 parts or more. It's a big, big map. So yeah, I feel you. I've been waiting for our tracing feature to launch to get started on it, and I've been kind of doing it a little bit in the background, but it's a very daunting undertaking. Probably going to spend a good 40 hours on it before it's done, at least. Like a good outline of it. Not like a heavily detailed map. So what I was going to do is make one big massive map that's the master, right? And then I'm going to divide it up into like 6 to 10 sections that are much smaller, easier to digest and use on a VTT, but, you know, you have all options available. So you could do one or smaller. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Anyway, really love this map. Very well done. Oh no, they didn't decorate inside the treehouse. No. Which cities are you thinking of making, Gore? Yeah. So, like, let's say you wanted to break this one up into sections, right? So let's say you wanted to just have this lower quadrant right here. You could take, you see these little chevrons in the corner? Just delete the section of the map you don't want anymore, right? Bring it down to there. Save as, you know, Village of Barkshire, Harbor District. You know, maybe give it a number or a quadrant. And then Control Z, and then you undo it, and it goes right back to the main map. So basically, you just, as long as you save the master map as the main one, you can, you know, break it down into mini sections very easily. File, save as, each time. Hey, Raul and Ash, welcome back. So as long as you know, like I just said, where we take the chevron, let's break it over here into the mining area. Village of Barkshire, mining district, and, you know, we could call this the something hut, like a healer hut or something, you know, give it like that, you know, and then basically save as new map, and then Control Z to undo, or go to edit, undo, and you could break a very large map into a much smaller digestible map. You know, you got to think our average community's computer isn't necessarily a beast streaming gaming computer. It's probably like a laptop or a home desktop. So when you break a map into smaller digestible pieces like that, it's very nice for them to be able to export it, to put it in a VTT, etc. In your case, Von Yakos, you know, I know you don't necessarily have like a super powerful setup. You could take a map and break it into smaller chunks, so it's much easier to stream it over Discord, right? This concept, though, like, you got to be careful and make sure you have the master saved, set aside. Just my overworked laptop. Anyway, you get what I'm saying, though. Like, it's a great way to kind of to break a large map into smaller maps. This one here, you could easily split into thirds or quadrants or two pieces using the technique I just shared. Just grab the chevron and dip it down so we could cut it off at like this bridge here, right? But then this church is cut in half, so that's kind of weird. Maybe just find a good dividing line there. So, how was everyone's week? How's everyone been enjoying the new update and, like, map making with it? I know not everyone's had a chance to dive into the new update. Understandable, given that, you know, it's only been out a few days. But now, you know, I would hope that a few of you have had a chance to digest it and play with it a little bit, see some of the new objects. Have you, after looking at it, is there anything that stands out to you that is, you know, pretty cool or interesting or fun? Hmm. Hmm. Yes, you could probably get about 5 levels if you get really tricky with it, because you can sink the ground on one side using lower terrain, right? So it's much lower. And then you can raise the terrain on the other. So yeah, it would be tricky, but I'd say between 3 and 5 levels is an optimal estimate. Let's go check out a new map now. Oh, or look at assets even. I really like these. I will say, Gore, you know, the trace overlay, you know, obviously it's a first iteration, so it's not necessarily perfect, and it'll get refined with time. But if you can match the grid, like if you can count out the grid of a map, so if you know exactly how many squares a map is, and then import it to a map that is roughly the same size or double the size. So let's say you have a 20 by 20 grid on the map you're trying to use as a trace. You could say use a 20 by 20 DA map or a 40 by 40 DA map. If you wanted the halls to instead be 5 by 5, you can make them 10 by 10 with a 40 by 40 map. So it's all about how you appropriately size and shape the map to the grid. That's the easiest way to make the very matched up, you know, grid to grid of map to grid to DA setup. However, it's not always optimal. Maybe you have a hand-drawn map, a scan, an image you got off the internet that isn't necessarily perfect, or, you know, it's been shared a few times, so it's been cropped or whatever. So yeah, obviously sometimes you have to stretch and contract it to get it just right. My pro tip there: make sure you have the grid on and slowly stretch it out just a little bit at a time until you get it as close as you can. Remember, close is better than perfect because you probably won't ever get perfect, especially if it's like a map you found online. Exactly, Gore. See, the original source material needs to be, gridded and saved as the correct file size to work. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you understand. Wow, 70 rooms, Mama Mui? Is that on the workshop? So check this out. Um, this collection of houses was made by Asmodeus, and these are just prefab village homes, and you can just drag and drop, snap them together, place them in a home. You can download this whole collection here. It's only 61 megabytes. None of the homes are over 3 megabytes. I think that's the biggest, the largest any of them are. Nice, Dirty Rollers. By the way, how you doing, brother? Hope you're well. I'm glad you're getting some benefit out of that. So as you can see here, I could just download all assets, and this will download every single one of these. He put them in a collection to save people time. Amazing. So I'm going to download this collection, and then we'll open another map and add a few of these to it. Because this map's a little tight, so it might be hard to do that. Man, it was fun bumping into you the other day when I dropped in that stream and you were actually playing in it. That was funny. Saw a DA map, man. I was looking on my phone. It was like an inch by an inch, and I was like, oh, that's a DA map. I sniped it. Mm-hmm. Here, we got this homestead exterior. Let's add a few of these prefabs to it. Okay, add a couple houses. What is going on? Oh, it's loading. Okay. I was like, did I actually click yes? Just kind of big. Crazed kobold gunslinger? Dang. Of course you would be a kobold. Okay, let's add a few of these. There was one that had like a windmill on it, right? There's one. Oh, I guess that's not part of this, but that's another one. I thought there was one of those that had a windmill. Maybe I'm crazy? Oh well. Let's do this one. And then we'll give it like one of these. Uh-oh, that one's invisible. Something's up with that. Let's try it again. That's weird. Anyway. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Also, this tall spire here, that one works, but Medieval House 10 is invisible for some reason. It might not have the colliders set up correctly. Let me just double check the workshop here. Windmill. There's not, it's on the workshop, but it's not in the collection. So it looks like it just needs to be added. I will definitely tell Asmodeus about that. Oh, you can fix that, huh? There, I found it either way. We can put that, you know, somewhere adjacent to the side or by the field, you know, like a mill. Either way. I've noticed that if you, like, save and reload the map, it sometimes fixes it. So, like, some of the assets, if you reload the map, they'll work the second time. The first time, they bug out. I'm not sure why. It is in the collection? Interesting. Let's double check, because I just downloaded the whole collection. And when I search windmill, it doesn't find it until I just downloaded it. So I just downloaded it, like, separately. That's weird. Just Steam being Steam, you know? Oh, you just added it. Gotcha. Misread. It probably will take a second for Steam to add it, but when I'm looking right now, definitely not in it at the moment. But Steam caching is a little wonky, so it takes like about an hour for them to verify new assets and add them to stuff. Either way, Asmodeus, thank you so much for sharing these beautiful assets with the community. Much appreciated. They add a lot of life and interesting, you know, good prefabs if you just want to quickly throw up a house that doesn't necessarily add any, you know, narrative somewhere your players won't enter. It just adds, you know, design and... Yeah, I see the windmill in the image, but when I look at the collection, right? Like, if you look at the collection itself, the image has it. I see it there. But when you open the collection and scan through it, it's currently not in, like, the actual collection. So, for some reason, like, that asset, you need to go to it and just click Add to My Collection. That would add it to this collection. If it's not already, if it is, it's probably just going to take a minute for Steam to cache it and add it to it. Your furniture shop? Let's take a look at that. Interesting. That's good to know. I'm not going to restart DA right now. Oh. Is this the Manticore layer? Is that what you're talking about? Let's see. See random Ladybird. Foxy, that's a very, very, very good assumption, because, you know, your players want to enter every single building. Then, you know, don't use prefabs. Generate a building that's filled out. That's weird, real TH. I don't know what's going on then. Yep, they're designed to like fill in a quick. What's the map called, random Ladybird? Furniture shop. Let's find it. There it is. There she blows. Hey, Dominic, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Oh my. Hewer's Fine Furniture. Love it, first off. That's great. And I love there's like a road and then the stair going into it. Okay, off to a great start. And it just looks like a lovely furniture gallery right as you walk in with like all the different sets and areas where, oh, here's the pillows and the chairs, and oh, you could have your room looking like this. And then I'm sure in the back, it's like, oh, it's all business back here where they're fixing all these, you know, reupholstering them, making chairs, repairing chairs, and wow. Wow. Look at this. I love it. This is so great. I love how you use the broken like table and the broken chair to make it seem like they're being made. That's great. This is fantastic, random Ladybird. You used a lot of assets in tandem to really create this whole aesthetic. I'm digging it. So how long did it take you to make this map? I'm just curious. Yeah, it does. It reflects a lot. It's also a trip though when you're looking at it and it doesn't reflect you, but it does in fact reflect the room. Be cool if we had a mirror that was like kind of reflected, like it just showed like a ghastly image. Good part of a day. Oh man. You know, we got a good amount of people in here. I gotta ask everyone's feedback if that's okay. Like one part of my job as your community manager is I like to gather community feedback and input to help guide us in our, you know, designs and our future updates. And right, Dirty Rollers, a lot of time went into this. So I'm curious. So we already know what our next update is titled. It's called Magic. So the next stretch goal is Magic, which was promised from our Kickstarter, and as you can imagine, it will have lots of magic items, magic wands, magic, you know, animated objects that are interesting and cool. So, you know, magic circles, wizard towers. One of our lead developers has said that we are attempting to tackle round and diagonal rooms in this update, which is crazy. Like, that's amazing that it's finally time for you know, round rooms and diagonal rooms to be part of the, you know, complete Dungeon Alchemist package instead of just some kind of workaround. So with that in mind, I am wanting to discuss this with you. And I'd like to know, when you think of magic as a stretch goal, what are the first things that come to your mind? So what are the types of assets, so objects, you know, rooms, biomes? What types of things do you think of? Evac, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'd really like to get our community feedback here. And, you know, hopefully your feedback and input can be added into the update. You know, I really appreciate it, but it's okay, Evac. Much appreciated, but no thank you. While I appreciate the hustle, that's not what I'm looking for. Alrighty. So, I'm looking at this furniture shop, and I just love how there's just so much random items kind of put throughout everything. And you really did decorate this very, very well, Random Ladybird. Thank you for sharing this with the community. I love it. Hey, Quellscar, I gotta ask, how you loving Dungeon Alchemist so far? And welcome back. Traps, runic symbol flooring. That's cool. Okay, so I'm looking at suggestions here. So far we have familiars, teleportation circles, weapons, magic weapon shop, smoking cauldrons. I know we do have, you know, some smoking cauldrons to a degree. I mean, you gotta... This one here is pretty much a smoking cauldron. You can turn the fire off and on. You can change the light color to, you know, different stuff, or the smoke color, I guess. And then you can change, you know, almost everything about this. But yes, would be nice to have more cauldrons. It is a cool map, huh, Levensies? Okay, so you're loving it so far, Quellscar. Slowly getting your head around it. I understand those first few weeks with Dungeon Alchemist can be very overwhelming, but we also designed it to be like a very easy, you know, new user experience, so you can kind of grow into it. It doesn't have to be duper crazy dive into it and know how to do everything software. I'm gonna walk into this first person. Wow, night vision. That is a really interesting idea. Mama Mooey says more potion varieties. So do you want them to just look different and have different labels, or the bottles to be different? Can you give me some examples here? Expand upon that idea, please. Okay, so Foxy says prestidigitation and glitter bombs. So you basically want like color spray and prestidigitation somehow incorporated in DA. Spell effects would be tricky in DA, but possible. We got to tread a fine line because there's, certain spells are allowed in the public domain and aren't owned like properties or whatever, and then others are definitely things that we can't use, But I wonder how that would work. I think there's some wiggle room there for spell type effects, maybe? In our effects section of Dungeon Alchemist. This little tab here. Because we have like an Alchemist fire section. Or a blue fire. I think there could be some wiggle room here for effects, at least, for spells, right? So, okay, Mama Mui says more bottle types, color options, possibly labels. By the way, welcome one and all. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Really quickly, we're talking about our next update, Magic. And I'm asking for feedback from our community in what you might expect in an update called Magic. So we're talking about the types of objects, items, effects people might expect to see. Room types, biomes, etc. Dirty Rollers, I missed yours a little bit ago and I'm sorry. You said staffs, wands, more lights, magic circles, things in jars, runes, spell books. Things in jars caught my attention. It would be cool if we had like a hand or a brain, because that would add to like a science, like a cool, like an alchemical, like a different experimental room, but also maybe like an evil scientist type thing. Hey, Uncle Trash Talk, how you doing, buddy? Gaming related, welcome back, welcome back. Yes, happy Saturday to you too. Hanging herbs is a lovely idea, Mama Mui. Dimensional pockets. Huh. So you want like a portable hole, or do you want like? So earlier, Night Vision was saying a portal that goes to another map, which would be really cool. In that, like extra dimensional spaces are tricky because they're in the same space, right? But they're not. They're far away, but also very close. They take up more space than they should, right? Come on, Yakos. We all know how much you hate the bag of holding. Ooh, potion ingredients. I like eyes of newts still. Ooh, that'd be creepy. Have you seen the blinking eye we do have, by the way? I'm just gonna throw this out there. Oof, that thing just ate up everything else. We're gonna turn off collisions. This thing's quite creepy. It just, it blinks and does its business. A pocket dimension, padded walls for shape changing, terrarium cages, lots of cages. That's smart, gaming related. That's really interesting. So like more like a druid's retreat, or maybe like a druid's hyperbaric chamber, a druid's training room. I'm trying to think of a name for this. What would be a good name for this room? Potion ingredients I like, though. Extra ritual circles with light coming from them. That would be cool. Some runic circles, or like, just circles emanating light, maybe a fairy ring, different circles with different effects coming off of them. Love it. Love these ideas. I love these ideas. So I gotta ask, what types of biomes would you expect? We can definitely do some floating stuff. Trash talk, be careful when you use that term, man, because it's kind of a loaded word nowadays. And we try not to use that term here. So, and I know, you know, it's one of those things. That's, I guess, better. It's hard to come up with a politically correct term on a stream like this. You know, honestly, it was brought to my attention about 9 months ago that it was a very loaded term, and I'd heard about it before, and someone, you know, said that they would appreciate it if we didn't use that term in Dungeon Alchemist, and we went through and removed any assets named that and renamed them. And since then, you know, we've treaded lightly along that because we don't really want to offend anyone. We want Dungeon Alchemist, our community, to feel like a very open, inviting, welcoming community. And so right now, I'm not trying to make you feel like called out. I'm more just educating. You know what I mean? It is definitely... Wolfgold is right there. So it is a very... emperatical and very, you know, like... Anyway, it just comes from a time when it was more used as a slang and a loaded term to describe people. Yeah, it's very colonial. So yeah, I try to avoid it. There's other terms, you know, that are very easy to apply to things, and it's like, oh, it's just a simple mistake. And nowadays, we just got to try to do our best to try to, you know, educate others, inform others, and try not to offend others. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. I appreciate it, Trash Talk. Appreciate it. Fey Earthen Biome sounds really cool, Dawn. Gaming related, everything in the tree is natural vines, glowing lamps, natural growing chairs, etc. Tree house. Okay. So, a Fey biome seems like duh, right? I kind of think an astral plane biome would be kind of cool. To a degree. But it's also kind of a stretch, right? Everything is purple. How about everything is Twilight? Doctor Strange. Okay, so I'm one of those people that love the outlier heroes, the, like, not as popular heroes in the Marvel universe. So, like, Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are my favorite Marvel movies and heroes. Like, I've always loved them more than, like, the key characters. And so, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying with the Doctor Strange. Morbin. Wolf God. So, my son and I, like, we love to rag on Morbius, like, a lot. And we meme about it really hard, about how it's, like, the best movie, but it's really awful. And, like, I remember one of our family members gifted us a Blu-ray copy because they heard us talking about it, and I was like, Ender, we can get rid of every movie we have now because we just have the most perfect movie ever. Oh my gosh, Highland Lass, how's your game going? I hope it's going well. Enjoy your break. We were looking at this lovely little furniture shop, and then we got a little sidetracked, as always. Sidetrack Mac. But Random Ladybird shared this lovely furniture shop with us. Oh man, Food Giver, that would mess with my head. You know, right, Von Yakos? Like, pretty much the entire Bleecker Street house is like perfect display options for magic. Like anything inside of the, you know, the Bleecker Street home from I love it. You know, cloaks, display cases with old, you know, armor and weapons, random gloves, books, like anything could be magic, really. You know, it could be cursed, it could be space room would be cool. Dawn, honestly, an MC Escher room would be mind-bendingly cool, but I don't know how it would be possible in Dungeon Alchemist. You know, Dirty Roller streams quite a bit, both map making and D&D streams. I'm trying to think who else in our community does. I know that there is a GM Eric. He streams quite a bit. I don't know if he's live right now. He was earlier. And he streams and has DA maps incorporated into his content. Let me see here. I'm looking up the list here. In fact, you know what? Let's use this as a moment just in case I'm forgetting anyone. If any of you stream D&D or Pathfinder or any content here on Twitch where you have a tabletop campaign that features DA related content, please just let us know here so anyone can, you know, get a chance to follow you and reciprocate with a follow kind of chain, and hopefully, you know, we can absorb each other's content and network, and it'll be amazing. Party and are up against a young blue dragon after 5 wormlings. They are part of a ritual, and the cleric is doing to hollow their homestead. The final. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot to deal with. What level is the party, and how big is the party? Oh, of course, gaming related. Yeah, I just didn't want to tell you about your own stream. Hopefully not, right, Highland? Hopefully they're not. Let's look. Oh, this looks cool. Let's check out this cathedral. Hey, see you, Highland Lass. Good luck with your campaign. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Always glad to lend a hand, gaming related. Always glad to lend a hand. Maps and a snap, as we like to say. You know, it really helps you fix those random problems your players. 2 snaps, 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. That's all it takes. Oh my goodness, what a cathedral. You know, Food Giver, it's an exact number is hard to pinpoint, but I would say the majority of our community uses Dungeon Alchemists to make maps and then export to their VTT of choice. So obviously, we export to a number of VTTs stock. Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, Roll20, and above VTT. And then we have universal VTT export, image, print, and video export. So you have a bunch of, universal options to work with TVTTs, like dynamic dungeons, or, if you just want to play on a TV tabletop or a projector. If you want to print, you have the option to print. So with the big, big three and then above VTT adjoining them in the list, you have a lot of options for export natively in the top-down, setup. But our community, despite the fact that Dungeon Alchemist is primarily a map-making and immersion tool, has found incredibly creative ways to use it as their primary gaming tool. I've seen, in-game person sessions where they play with a TV tabletop or a projector, where Dungeon Alchemist is their primary thing, their only software. They'll, set it up in a top-down with a grid. They disable the user interface, hide it, and then they just kind of move along as a natural fog of war for their players as they go. So they don't reveal anything extra until they have to. There's that way of doing it. The other one is, I've seen DMs stream over Discord like this, and you can always drop a token in for a player and say, this is your, your token, and oh, this is the enemy over here. And, the player now knows how much distance they have as a visual representation, and then they can act accordingly. Hey, DM, I would like to move from, that square to, the square right in front of the bad guy, or as close as I can get to him so I can attack him. It leaves a little less agency to the players when the DM does all the movement or sets up the scene for them, but you got to remember, you are playing a make-believe game where your players are expected to suspend their belief a little bit in order to imagine things happening. So this is a visual representation of what's going on. It doesn't have to be a perfect representation. So I've seen people stream this over Discord. I've seen entire sessions played where the DM moves their tokens for them 100%. I'm in a couple of sessions where the DM will either stream something like this and will tell us visual representations, and we say, hey, who we're going to attack or where we're going to go, and they'll move and do everything for us. Another one where they follow along in first person, so they'll be like, we'll be like, hey, can you go check out this corner? They'll walk over and follow along in first person and stream it in Discord while we're playing on, like, Foundry. So we're playing in top down, but then we have a first person representation of what's going on, because, everyone talks about your player abilities, right? It's a big part of the gameplay in tabletop gaming. My player can do X, Y, Z, has all these abilities at this level, can do these things, because this much dark vision, but we never get to see through their eyes. We always see from top down. It really breaks immersion when you're trying to add a realism factor to it. So following around in first person allows the players to experience what their token, their character would see in this environment in first person. And it gives your players a lot more opportunities for RP, immersion, etc., especially when they're visual learners. You have people who learn just by hearing you say it, or with sounds and auditory feedback. Some people are really good at imagining things all their own, but when you have a visual learner, this helps tremendously. Let's see here. This cathedral map is insane. It's beautiful. Kind of got distracted as we were talking, but it is the symmetry. As you can see, it's a big cross, which, leads to a cathedral. Lovely pillar structure and symmetry. I love, like, all the banisters and stuff. Very interesting. Oh, the NPC holding 2 mugs, the barkeep. Yeah, I like that one. How can you add your own characters, Foxy? That's a great question. So there's 2 ways to do that now. The most simple, straightforward way would be if you have no, 3D design ability and have no 3D tokens in your, in your files that you can upload and use already. I would say the most straightforward way would be using Hero Forge. So you can go to heroforge.com, create a token using all of their templates and assets, create a very beautiful token, paint it, and then you can export it as a 3D digital mini. Now that does cost. It is $7.99 typically US dollars per token. Now there, you have that convenience fee baked into the fact that it's so easy to make the token there. That is something that Hero Forge costs. We have no control over that. Hero Forge charges you for a 3D digital. You export it, and then you can now import your Hero Forge account and have 3D tokens. That would be like, hey, I have no idea how to make a 3D token, or I don't own any to import already. Now, in our last update, we added 3D asset import, which I'm going to walk you through a little bit right now. So if you open Dungeon Alchemist, you can hit Steam Workshop, and here it says Open Asset Importer. So those tokens from Hero Forge, for instance, you could import those even if you have them as a 3D printable, like a 3D STL, or you could start importing an assortment of different, assets that are custom. So what I've begun doing is importing like custom palisades. So like palisades are just, improvisational barricades made from the logs and sticks and, rocks in the environment. So here we have some that were just kind of stacked up. Here was some bamboo spikes, palisade bunches. So these were ones I've imported myself. Here's Hendrik, our mascot as an alchemist that I've shared on the workshop. Now, let me show you how you can import your own assets. So if you know 3D sculpting or 3D design of any kind, or you know where to download 3D assets, you can then attempt to, create and import your own assets. So let's try this one. See if it works. Okay, please work. Yay, it worked. Okay, so here we have a round roof. A conical round roof for like the top of a wizard tower, or a guard tower, something like that. As you can see, there's even like a little smoke pipe for like a chimney. Okay, so I've imported this asset. We're pretty much off to a great start. I'm going to call it a round cone tiled roof. Okay, so I've now given it a name. Now every word in the name is a keyword for the asset search in the object search bar, so you don't need to repeat these, but you could put like what would we call this? A chimney? We could say circular. Like any of these words, these keywords are things that it'll help come up when you search it later. So when you do a keyword, you want to put the name of the keyword, comma, space. Name, keyword, comma, space. Hey, Reverend, that's awesome. Well, thank you for using those assets. That is actually, my wife made those at my behest. I begged her to make them. She sculpted them, painted them, and then I uploaded them to the workshop. I'm glad you used them. Conical turret. Crap. Love it. Anyway, so basically at this point you could give it a bunch of keywords, right? Moving on, you could say what type of object. So we've given you a bunch of templates here, right? So we have a basic object, which is likely what I'm going to make this be. Flying object would be like a you know, maybe like a floating eyeball, like random Ladybird just said, or a bird, or a dragon, or maybe a chandelier, something floating in the air. A pit, now it's kind of deceiving in the name. It's not necessarily a hole. It's an object that sinks into the ground or is anchored into the ground. So we have certain objects that kind of are fitted into the ground, like stairs that sink into the ground, and they can't be resized or shaped if they're a pit. Snaps to grid means the object will snap to the grid. Snaps to side means it'll snap to the side of the grid. Token means it can be placed as a token and you can enter first-person mode with it. Wall clipped objects, pretty self-explanatory. They will magnet and snap to the walls, but they could also be placed anywhere. So in a corner in this case, or a single wall. Wall mounted would be like a torch, so it would go up on the wall. Now in this case, I'm going to pick basic. There's a bunch of objects you could options. You could set it to randomly rotate, so each time you place a new one, it'll be a different rotation. Don't really need that. Random size, don't really need that. Float on water, don't really need that. Meaning it will float on water or be a random size each time you generate one. The tile coverage, it's pretty close already. It auto snaps it to where it needs to be. The rotate point, I may want to check that. So if you look at it from top down, it's actually perfectly centered. What that means is it rotates from that point. So when you rotate this, that is where it rotates from. Anyway, that's good to go, so I like that. Now we're going to go over here to categories. I'm going to put this under structural, and I think I'm going to put it under round constructions. That seems like a good fit for it. I could put it under like woodwork, maybe wood platforms. I'll add it to a few. And then lastly, I'm going to come and add a collider to this. Colliders are essentially what the objects constraints parameters are, and it tells Dungeon Alchemist what its shape is or size. And in this case, because it's circular, a box one seems kind of a weird fit. So I'm going to delete that collider, and I'm going to actually just set a cylinder collider to it. And notice it fits much better to the shape. If you look at it from the size here, from the side, obviously, as you go up, it's not a perfect fit, but it's pretty good overall, and I can always, disable collisions and sink objects into it. But it matches the overall shape from the top down. It matches it from the side to a degree. It does get a little skewed as you go up, but we don't have a collider that's a cone, so we got to make do with what we've got, unless I want to make tons of colliders. Can a pit also be used to snap to a table? Foxy, can you elaborate on that? Wolf Gold asked greed-based question, and there's no way I'll take it as set in stone at all. Would there be a rough time frame? I would say 3 to 6 months. Sink. Ooh, so that's a good question. So you want to make like a sink object that goes into like a table? You'd probably just want to put it as a floating or a basic object and then put it on top of the table manually. Does that make sense? Our lead developer is on a break right now. He's taken a week or two off to recuperate after the long development cycle and hot fixes. We encourage our devs to not burn themselves out and take regular breaks. I took a couple days off this week. Most of our team was recuperating after the update. So now that I've set a collider for this, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to double check everything's good to go and hit save, right? So I've given it a name. I've given it, I want to check that. Circular. Didn't mean that. Circular. Let's put circle. And, yeah, we're good. Okay. So I'm going to so we've got everything set up for it. I'm going to hit save. Now this saves it as a local asset, right? It works locally. But I want to share this on the workshop for everyone to see, okay? So I'm going to go to publish asset, and I'm going to change it from private to public instead of private or friends, which can only be seen by me or me and my friends. A simple conical roof top for round rooms, towers, and buildings, and other structures. Now, I'm going to hit publish. Did I spell conical right? I can't remember. I'm going to double check. Conical, yes. Okay, I got it right. I had to double check myself. I was having a second guess of myself. It didn't look right. So I'm going to hit publish, right? Right, it does look funny, right? It looks awkward, so I had to double check myself. I appreciate it, Wolf Gold, though. You know, I definitely agree that the team definitely shouldn't burn themselves out and should always take the appropriate amount of breaks and time it takes to work on these updates. No crunch should be required, you know? Oh my. Ability to make things see-through. It would be super cool if we could make anything see-through. So it just became like Wonder Woman's jet, like an outline. Reverend Kansas, did the Palisades work good for your map? I gotta ask. Oh, that's so good to hear. Okay, so I'm going to open up a map that I have a round roof on already, and I'm just going to add this cone roof to it. So I have this Lighthouse Tavern that I uploaded like a week or two ago, and we worked on that on the Mapmaker Monday stream. By the way, we stream every Saturday, and we stream every Monday here on Twitch. So Saturdays are what's called the Dam stream, where we feature community maps, give you tips and tricks for your maps, and showcase community assets. Every Monday, we do a build. So I teach you live how to build, and we kind of show you in cool, fun building concepts and expand upon them to give you more enhanced building one-on-one, essentially. It's like Professor Mac is on duty. So I'm going to take and find... I've got this new structural asset that I just uploaded. The cone roof. I'm going to disable collisions. Oh, that got big. And it just jumps. Don't know why. But as you can see, just like in a few moments... Because it's a solid, technically the light doesn't go through it. Light can go through clear, like these, in an abstract, but not a solid, my friend, unfortunately. So, I mean, as you could see the potential of this, I just added this asset to the workshop moments ago. And now it's available to add a conical roof. Right? It didn't take me long to get it right. And obviously this wasn't necessarily built for it. Here, let me pull off this top layer. I designed this in sections so you could pull it apart. Because I wanted people to be able to see the floors. Not bad at all. Night vision, if you could come up with something that could do that, that'd be amazing. But with the abstract settings, it's either it's clear or it's solid. That's how these abstract objects work in the templates with them. There's no opacity. Does that make sense? So it's either clear or solid. That's it. Even if it looks like stained glass, the light won't sneak through it. Anyway. Yeah, the roof the cone one, yeah, I just barely imported it to the workshop. I just barely added it on stream while everyone was watching. Here. This one here, I just barely added this to the workshop, not even 10 minutes ago. Oh, Von Yakos, what's the name of the map, brother? I've seen it, but I can't remember the name. I'll pull it up. Cathedral or something. Or, no, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Well, that's loading. So as you can see here, he's got abstracts placed in these spaces here with stained glass. So technically in the real world, we know stained glass, the light passes through it. But an abstract counts as a solid unless it's clear. It's one or the other. So as Dag was just saying, just moments ago, oh, well, we have those abstracts that have a hole passing through them, and that is exactly the point I was pointing out. If the abstract was designed with a hole in it, so like, for instance, if you went and cut out all of these little sections and left the wiring, then the light would pass through there, but then you'd lack this beautiful blue. It would be nice, Will, I know, but unfortunately, it's not really viable with these assets. So I'm going to show you an abstract I have that is a great example. This cyberpunk wall is one I love to show off. So as you can see, right here on the side, the light is clearly passing through this abstract. There's a circle on the side here, right? And it's twisting and turning with the shade. The actual shadow is adjusting with this. Dude, they look great. They look fantastic. I think they're amazing. They're beautiful. If I'm not lying, it's not bad. It's just I understand what you were trying to accomplish with the light coming through. But I will say some lights were just uploaded to the workshop recently that might solve your problem. So it was Buko Vino, I believe, uploaded some light packs where they're just like free floating lights, right? Watch this one. This RGB spotlight. Let's grab that one, okay? I know I've gotten it already, so I'll just grab it really quick. I have so many assets already. I've downloaded pretty much all of them on the workshop because I'm... Here, this RGB spotlight, okay? Check this out. So this could kind of give off that effect that... It is so hard to control this thing because it's invisible. So I'm going to turn off collisions. I'm going to kind of raise it up to kind of match like that height, right? And then it just seems like a vibrant light is shining through it. So it's not perfect. Like, it's not perfect. But it gives off the feel. You can even see this ball floating up here because I made it so big. That's beautiful, though. So that could give off the effect you're looking for. That's a good workaround, at least, for now. I appreciate it. You know, the lights will translate for sure. It'll probably be a big mess on a VTT, though, for sure. I have no idea how that'll translate to a VTT. Let me know. Report back how that goes. But you could see the light, like it's like it bleeded through on this side to the pillars. Let's put another one over here. Love it. You can even rotate it to change the spectrum to match better with the glass type. It really just seems like there's all that natural light bleeding in now. Look at the pillars. That's the main thing to take away, is all this light bleeding onto the pillars. So that just seems like, oh, there's light coming in, natural light from outside. Von Yakos, I don't know why you just didn't ask me sooner, you know, like... Some of you, it makes me laugh. Some of you will spend hours, like, torturing yourselves, coming up with solutions or workarounds, and then it's like, you break down finally, come in asking for support, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and someone points it out in, like, 10 seconds. Well, the whole point of our community helping each other is that, you know, like, we're like a hive mind coming up with solutions and ideas together. Like, I get that some of us love coming up with these solutions ourselves, but it don't, like, there's no shame in asking for help and, like, coming up with it. Oh, I know, it's new. It's brand new. You wouldn't have known. Oh my gosh, right, Wolf Gold? There's so much to digest. You will become part of the Borg. The damn fam. So does anyone have any fun plans this weekend? Anything interesting? Are you getting together with your players to play this weekend or anything like that? Cheeseburger does sound delicious, I'm not gonna lie. Everyone gets a cheeseburger. Fast food stock goes up. Wow, a lot of different games going on this weekend. Icewind Dale's always a slog, isn't it? Oh my gosh, I haven't had an Orange Julius in years either. I think since I was in my teens. One of my friends worked there for like years, so we'd just go and get like cheap Orange Julius, and they were good. They were good, but that is like a 80s, early 90s mall icon. Whoa, nice, Gore Vidal. Von Yakos, by the way, brilliant work on this map, my friend. Stunning, brilliant work on all the abstracts. I know it probably took you a ton of time to get this all, like, fine-tuned. It's beautiful. Great work. Take your hand like this. See it? Turn it around. Pat yourself on the back. You did fantastic work here. So, trigger warning for anyone who doesn't like spiders. I'm just going to ask you to just like open another tab for just a minute okay? While I just show off something amazing. If you don't like spiders, just cover your eyes or like open another tab for the next minute and I'll tell you when you're all clear. I don't want to upset anyone who may not like vibe, and I just want to show everyone else this cool asset. So someone uploaded this spider to the workshop, and it is animated. And one thing I've noticed is the animations aren't looped together. So if they're all placed at separate times, they all have separate loops. Right? Here, you know what? For anyone who hates fire, or hates, spiders, let's kill them with fire. That's a good compromise, right? Oh my. Oof. Don't like that. That gave me the heebie-jeebies. Nope. Don't want that. We're going to drop that one in the pit. He fell into the pit. There's already a couple spiders on the workshop. Okay, we don't have any spiders on screen anymore, so if you were avoiding it for the trigger, other than I'm just showing the workshop spiders, there are 3 here. These aren't animated or anything, but you know those 2 are standalone, and this one is animated. So check them out if you're interested in adding some oomph. Are there dryads? I haven't seen a dryad yet. Nope. No dryads. Not yet, at least. Let's get some dryads up, people. What the heck? We've got some dragons. Check this one out. This was shared by Asmodeus. Look, it even casts a shadow. You could see it here to the side. Let me raise it up a bit. Oh, whoa. Where'd it go? Too high. You see right here? The wing here? Let's make it like a different... there's not enough shadow there. You can definitely see the shadow it casts. Very cool. Thank you for sharing this, Asmodeus. By the way, I'm just going to point out that we are very close to thresholds for a couple different giveaways today. So if we hit a 50 viewer threshold, which we're at 37 out of 50, then we will host a giveaway. Steam key for Dungeon Alchemist. And it's drawn from active viewers in chat, so you have really high odds of winning. The other one is if we hit 2,000 followers here on Twitch. So right now, we are at 1,976 followers out of 2,000. So just 24 away. Well, now we're only 23 away because Foxy just followed. So thank you, Foxy and Terradol. So there we go. You know, we are just cooking now. We're cooking with gas now. So we have now trimmed that from 1976 to 1978. Only 22 to go. I very much appreciate the support. Reverend Kansas, thank you very much. In fact, I'm just going to ask, I'll beg, as the community manager here, if any of you aren't following already and you are enjoying the stream, you enjoy Dungeon Alchemist, or you want to learn more about it, considering buy it, maybe you own it already, and you're just enjoying the stream in general, make sure you hit that follow button. These streams are a great resource if you are new to DA or learning about it, because it helps you learn a tremendous amount about the program and find amazing maps to use for your campaigns. Every week we look through community maps, we host map making competitions, we do map making showcases, and teach you tips and tricks for your builds. So make sure, if you're not already, you hit that follow button so you can tune in the future and you don't miss out on any amazing stream opportunities. Okay, Dawn asks, in the future update for treasury items, will we get the ability to change things like coin pile color from gold to silver or copper? You know, that's a great question. That is a great question, Dawn. I was hoping we'd get different denominations like silver or copper or platinum, and I'm not sure why they didn't sneak their way in. I even wanted some stacks of bills, you know, like a single bill or a stack of bills. But for some reason, they didn't make their way into the treasury, and, you know, I will ask about that, actually. Let me grab my notepad and ask about the varied coin nations, metals. Okay. You know, if you really are mad at your players, just give them tons of Electrum. Honestly, like, Electrum, so my son was asking me how Electrum worked, and the way I explained it to him, and everyone has a different version of it in their campaign, but in my world, Electrum is basically, it's a currency from an empire that has disappeared. A kingdom, a country that no longer exists. Maybe it fell into ruin. I mean, the $2 bill is still currency, right? And people don't accept it or are messed up. But Electrum, the metal itself, may be something that no one uses, or it might not be used in crafts. Or maybe the coin itself is from an empire that's fallen, so the currency is no longer recognized. It's like, you know, you're trying to trade money from a country that isn't around anymore. I asked about it, but I never heard back. They might have missed my question, so I will bring it up again. Actually, I'll put a note about it right here, okay? See, when it was brought up, there was a lot going on, and I think it just kind of got lost in the pile. Well, at one point it was brought up that the hooded statue with the lava would have more liquid types coming out of it, and I don't know what happened to that. I had some fake Confederacy currency from, like, I got it at a trade stop, like a rest stop or something, like a, you know, like one of those tourist traps when I was a kid. Something like that. Arc, that's hilarious. If a magpie is still, it's good enough for you. You know, Will, that is great. A great point out there as like a thing that there should be. Remember, you know, you can always pop into the object brush, you know, and go into like treasure and just start doing different things, variations. Obviously, you know, there's a limited variety in the brush types. Man, it would, you know, I'm going to suggest to Wim that we add one for all the ingots, you know? That would be a great update for a brush, just a varied ingots. No worries. And honestly, if you all ever bring up something with me and you feel like it hasn't been addressed, you know, or it may have been slipped under the rug, just let me know. Bring it up with me again, and I'll add it to my to-do list. You know, I have a long to-do list, but I try to address all of your concerns, your feedback, your ideas as best I can. I mean, a lot of feedback and suggestions made it into this last update, for instance. Both, you know, suggestions for quality of life as well as assets. So, oh, they are, right? The paper piles. There was a lot of, like, the stacks of scrolls, unfurled scrolls with stuff on them, stamped documents, stacks of papers. These look great. Oh, wow, you can put something on it? So you can have it, like, just have a, like, you know, notes on the top. That is a great suggestion. Customizable brushes are something that Wim said he would like to add in the future. No ETA, but when he was on the stream about 3 weeks ago, he brought that up. It was asked during the stream if people could make their own brushes, and he said he would love to add that support. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool, Dag. So I used to metal detect a lot when I was younger. My dad and I, my father and I would go metal detecting and panning and, like, you know, hiking and exploring, like, old Spanish trails and old, you know, like wagon trails and stuff like that. And so I had a rather large coin collection when I was younger of, like, all sorts of old assorted currencies. And I also would trade my coins from currencies from around the world when I would meet with people. So I'd trade some of my rare coins to get coins from other nations and stuff. It was really cool. It wouldn't be very feasible, to be honest with you, Pterodol. It's probably better to just remove the windows in the map before you export if there's too many. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no way to really easily tag them short of just editing that whole XML file by hand. Or, like, changing them in, you know, Fantasy Grounds at the end stage. I'm sorry. It does seem like it will take just a little bit of preparation in your order of operations. So just kind of, you know, if a room's generating a lot of windows, for instance, like, let's say you don't like the amount of windows, you could, for instance, go in here and uncheck this under AI settings, and now the room won't generate with windows, and you can just manually put them on yourself. Obviously, that creates more manual work, but then you don't have to delete as many. I mean, when I metal detect, I bathe coins in vinegar and baking soda to clean them because they are so gross and grimy when you dig them out. That's still very much used. But yeah, putting coins in vinegar was a way to keep stuff from transferring. So, Heronimo made this as, like, this crazy, you know, steampunk train, arcane train, and it is insane what he came up with here. Right? Kaihera, it's definitely a 20, a nat 20 here. You wouldn't guess what this front asset is. It's an iron. For, like, ironing clothes. Indeed, Wolf Gold, indeed. Now, Pterodol, you know, you could always make a suggestion on our upvoting. And if, it gets enough attention or votes, then it's possible our devs might consider doing something like that, making a support for it. Honestly, now that we have tentacles, it's only a matter of time before someone makes a nautiloid, right? So we added these tentacles in the recent update, right? And all these different color schemes available. So I could see someone just attaching these to... Well, our next update is going to address that, actually. It's just not something that's, easily addressable, so it's taken time. And while we are in early access still, things take time to address and overcome. We do them in stages, usually laying down foundational layers so as to, prepare for future updates. But yep, our next update will be incorporating round and diagonal walls. This is very much something that our devs have committed to make work in this next update. Well, I appreciate your continued patience. Well, now you just leveled your map making up to 11, right, Pterodol? Foxy did too today by getting Dungeon Alchemist. By the way, welcome to the community, Foxy. My favorite part of this build is this right here. All of the current reminds me of like the hovercrafts from the Matrix, where they would like kind of hover over the ground with the electrical current creating like a buffer. So I'm looking at the clock here. We have about 15 minutes left on the stream. And I just wanted to let you all know. So we'll be wrapping up shortly. So if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, support, anything like that you need, let me know sooner than later so we can cover it today on today's stream. If not, we will have to wait for a future stream. I'm sure our effects will be expanded upon drastically in Magic Stretch Goal for sure. Space station tunnel walls, can the roof bit be removed? Good question. Probably not, because it's an imported asset that doesn't have all that support yet, so likely not. It's just like a solid tunnel without a removable. That'd be cool and also gross. Ugh. Could you imagine? Uh-oh. Well, my DA kind of froze there for a second. Have you seen the flesh kind of biome stuff that you can do right now? With the skeletal plane stuff? So, Pterodol, we chose a 30-second loop because that ended up being the best possible loop, where the animations turned out the best. Otherwise, they were very visible and looked awkward. So you have these bones, right? But look at the terrain options you can paint. There's like all these gross, like, that definitely is unsettling here. What else? We got like this blood, gross kind of guts thing. I've seen people do like the inside of Leviathans with these. It was Dirty Rollers did like the Predator, like, or Aliens, kind of like Sacrificial Chamber, where the aliens emerge from their pods in Predator versus Aliens, I think. Like, you get all these like really kind of gross, I don't know how to explain them, kind of living, or just, you could also call it really gross, like dying fields or whatever. There's also bones that are just like charred and it's gross, but also very alien. Oh man. Here you go. You need flesh tunnel walls. Let's generate a new environment and we'll do it. Skeletal plains, cave system. Ready? I'll make you a flesh tunnel right now. You can do it with the assets available. I mean, there's a flesh tunnel right there. It's pretty much like... So you can come in here and just start painting it to like all flesh. So like I said, people have done like the inside of Leviathans or giants, or, you know, it's like this is their internal organs and their digestive system, or yes, this is This could be a nautiloid very easily. Yes, this could, I mean... It already exists, my friend. It's just kind of not as advertised. But you know what? Now that you've said that, I kind of want to start making a nautiloid too. Maybe I'll make one on TikTok. Because I need to do a stream there this weekend or something. Maybe Tuesday, I don't know. Start doing a nautiloid build there. Hey, see you later, Night Vision. What time is it where you are? Change the lighting in here. Make it a what? A bit lighter? Like brighter? Is that what you're saying? Walking through this is going to be a pain. There's like a bajillion rocks. Yep, I'm already stuck in one. Totally normal, actually. This is just like... This is totally fine. Let me out! Stuck. I can't jump. There. Oh! Whoa! Okay. Going backwards and jumping, you can get up over anything. Maybe. Yeah. Yup. Let's learn a new hack. DA traversal. You can go up like a sheer cliff if you go backwards and tap spacebar. I guess it worked forward too. Whee! That's a perfect placement of that skull. Sometimes the AI just really knocks it out of the park. You don't create assets with Dungeon Alchemist. You would create them with a different tool, like Blender or something like that, and then you could import them to Dungeon Alchemist. You can create maps, however, very quickly, or combine existing assets and DA to make a, so like an example, very primitive example. Let's say I move these rocks together to make a much more unique rock outcropping. So you can combine assets together by like raising them up and down, twisting them around. If you disable collisions here, it allows you to merge stuff together to make new and unique assets. So in a way, yes, like a lot of maps that are featured on our streams, people got very clever and made custom assets by merging assets together. So in a way, you can merge existing assets to kind of create new ones within DA. But if you want to import custom assets, they would have to be made externally of DA or in another program. So like right here, these towers, like this is just a tent on top of a tower, right? Couple of tents, a few tents. I mean, it's never too late to learn 3D modeling. There's free tools online like Tinkercad. It's a web-based 3D modeling program. I got my start there. It's a great tool. Blender is also great, but it's much more advanced, even for free. It's not for the faint of heart. There's a lot to dive into there. So, you know, Tinkercad is kind of getting your feet wet, whereas Blender is diving in head first. So, Fusion 3D is another one that can be free for personal use, but it also is not necessarily easy to learn. You got to watch like a lot of tutorials and stuff. Active tutorials? What do you mean by that? Tinkercad has a lot of active creators that make, you know, tutorials for it. You know, the videos, I've seen some that are anywhere from 5 to 7 years old to 3 months, because it's been around for a long time. People are actively, supportively creating content for it. Tinkercad themselves are constantly making updated tutorials and videos, and they don't just do 3D design and modeling. You can actually use it to like wire out like Arduino boards and circuit boards and stuff. So they have other tools baked in that you can use it to like do minor electrical programming and 3D design and sculpting and like a bunch of stuff. So good question, Will. I don't know offhand. Offhand, I would not know. It has lessons. Then yeah, check it out. I haven't used Tinkercad in that way in a long time. I used to use it all the time, but I haven't in a while. Ugh. So, by the way, Foxy, art like that, you would probably want to share that in the non-DA creation channel. But that is awesome. I like the dragon. It looks really cool. The detail's really interesting. What type of dragon is that? What has been the best, most unexpected feedback that you guys gotten since the new update? You know, honestly, I would say almost everything we've gotten has been overwhelmingly positive. Like, I've gotten pages and pages of screenshots of positive comments on our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. It is always surprising to me a little bit, and I don't mean this in a mean way, that when we release an update and someone's like, I really love this, but... And then they immediately detract from all the hard work and effort by being like, I wish it had this, or it would be much better if it had this. And I can see that as a little discouraging for our, you know, our art team, our developer team, and even for me as the community manager sometimes. But I try to realize that people are just, you know, eager to see Dungeon Alchemist grow into something else and, like, support their dreams and their desires even more on a day-to-day basis. So, like, I don't think anyone means anything ill or bad intent from it. It's just kind of like, wait, what? Like, we just put out this amazing update, and you're, like, not happy with it? Or whatever, I guess, can kind of be seen that way. Or people are already expecting more, and it's like, you know, our team is human. There's only 10 of us. We can only do so much in the amount of time given, with the amount of people given. So, like, I guess sometimes I just wish people had more, like, realistic expectations. Yeah, it is that. You know, I don't think anyone has any ill intentions, and sometimes it's hard to construe anyone's intentions or thoughts from a string of text on a social post. So I don't try to read into it too much. I think it's just always surprising how people are like, wait, when's the next update going to come out? And the new one just barely came out. Like, it is shocking how often that happens. Actually, it shouldn't be shocking how often it happens now, because it happens all the time. And like I said, I hope that isn't seen as me as complaining, more as just like, wait a second, didn't we just release an update? Like, I guess I just would hope that people would be excited with what they have and like aren't expecting, you know, like as we've said in the past, Dungeon Alchemists to do their taxes, you know? As we say as a joke here. Like, it can only do so much as a map maker and an immersion utility. Well, we're aiming for a launch of Q4 2099. Just turn of the century. Tax launch. Are the eggs used to test textures? Do you mean the dragon eggs? Is that what you're talking about? Like these? Random Ladybird? Sorry, I missed that. Is that what you're talking about? Like these dragon eggs? Oh, well, I would say that I have no idea. No, I mean, eggs are just like a really common item in nature and life. And, you know, it would make sense that there's a lot of them in DA between like regular eggs, you know, decorative or dragon eggs, Fabergé. And I'm surprised we didn't actually add Fabergé, short of like these gold ones. But, you know, I agree. There are a lot of egg assets now that you say it. I don't know if there's any particular reasoning behind it, like a story or a secret, you know, hidden joke or like a inside joke. I would just say, you know, overall, it's probably just because eggs are like a really common thing in day-to-day life and nature. They're like the symbol of creation, the symbol of like ideas, and you know, it's probably just a really common thing to reoccur. Is there an egg head? Not yet. You hide the eggs in lavatories? Oh my, you. Oh my, you. All right, we are past 2. It's actually 2:05 now, or it's getting close to 2:05. I would like to just extend a very warm and like thank you so much to everyone that hung out today, came out to the damn stream. Uh, you know, our existing long supporters and our new supporters, the new followers, our lurkers who hung out casually hiding in the background while everyone was, you know, just diligently chatting. The lurkers supporting also in the background is amazing. I appreciate you. Remember, we do 2 streams a week. Every Saturday is the Damn stream. Every Monday is Map Maker Monday. We do these streams to educate you about Dungeon Alchemist, provide you with insight to our program, new updates, information around that. We also do it to showcase community maps and assets so you can see the latest and greatest that's coming out and you don't miss out on it. Lastly, Map Maker Monday that we do every Monday, I sit around and I make a map from scratch. Usually the theme is picked by the community and they end up being some of the craziest maps you've ever seen. Just an example, one of the maps I made recently was called the Snemple, and it is a temple built into the long dead shell of a behemoth snail. So essentially, I created a snail shell temple and like set up a camp outside and like an offering area and created this whole backstory for it. And when 3D Asset it came out, we imported custom 3D shells and statues to go along with it. Used a ton of abstracts, but there's a ton of lore and information tied to this map now, and it's a free map for the community. Honestly, I appreciate each and every one of you that supports our streams, supports our community initiatives, giveaways, competitions. I will say there's a new community initiative that I've been pushing in our Discord. Some of you may not be aware of it. Really quickly, just kind of pointing that out. Shameless promotion. Going forward, every Tuesday and Wednesday, unless specified otherwise, I will be holding what's called office hours. We have a channel in our Discord. It's a stage channel called Dungeon Alchemist HQ. And every Tuesday and Thursday, I invite our community to hop in and listen to us as we talk about DA, tabletop gaming, and provide support, feedback, insight on the build process in a one-on-one type scenario. I'm on stage and I invite the mods and devs and other creators to come up on. We invite people who need support to come up on and chat. You can chat in a chat window like Twitch, but you can also come up on stage and talk with your mic. So it makes it a little bit easier to converse and give your feedback and suggestions that way. We've done that a few times now, and it's actually been really amazing, the turnout and support we've had. And I just wanted to make everyone aware of it. I'm going to be putting up some events today on Discord to coordinate those. But big announcement related to that is Thursday, Wim, one of our lead designers and artists, will be present during office hours. So normally it's just me, but we'll have one of our devs there as well to answer questions and hear your feedback and insight. And I will say, Wim really loves your feedback and insight, and usually is really good about turning around that insight into rapid fixes and updates. So, we haven't gotten a drum solo yet because both times Carl has been on the stream is when it was late at night, when his daughter was in bed. Even with the electric drums, it'd be too loud. So we need to just chime a stream where I'm up late and it's early in his day, and that would be easier. So it'd be like a late night stream for, people in the US, maybe, 9 p.m. to midnight, somewhere in there, West Coast, and then people who are in Europe would be, morning, middle of day for them, and Carl might allow us to see his drum skills. That's it. I'm out. Well, hey, I tried. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for being a part of the damn stream. Again, my name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. This is the official Dungeon Alchemist channel on Twitch. You can find us 2 days a week, every Saturday and every Monday. The schedule I posted above in chat, and it's also here in the schedule on Twitch, as well as we have events posted every week in our Discord. So make sure you check those out. If you don't, they're a great way to stay tuned to the latest events and whatnot, including the office hours that I was just talking about. Again, thank you everyone for being here. We'll see you next time I give a damn. Mac out.